Imagine selling a card for $300 and then 5 years later watching that same card sell for over $96,000. Well, that experience just happened to a collector. But how should we feel about it? How should we feel about the people who were able to flip it for that much profit? And have you sold a card too early before? We're going to tell you our stories now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot Doug, woof, 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 woof. Somebody is not feeling great today. Somebody is not feeling great today. A $300 card that they sold and that they're now watching sell for over $96,000. This just happened. I want to get into this. Before we do, I want to real quick give the audience an announcement that tonight I am live starting at 7 p.m. all the way till 11 p.m. I'm live on the Cards HQ Shop channel on Whatnot. It is LeBron James night. I have literally hundreds of LeBron James cards I'm selling tonight, guys, on Whatnot, our Cards HQ Shop, and I'm giving a free blaster box to every first-time Whatnot purchaser. So join me. We'll put the link below, the QR code up.
Do we know yet?
Yeah, it's going to be a blaster of Top Series 2 baseball.
Okay.
For every first-time Whatnot purchaser who scans our QR code or uses the link below. All right, let's get into this story, guys. So here's what happened. This was back in 2019. Somebody had it was actually a guy named Big Seth. He's on Blowout forums, and he's talking about how he got the 2018 Jalen Brunson Prism Nebula 1 of 1. A beautiful looking card, by the way. Back in 2018, of course, Jalen Brunson, or I should say 2019, Jalen Brunson wasn't, that sought after as a guy from that, 2018 Prism rookie class. So he said that he was posting the card on eBay for $300 or best offer. He was open to taking offers from Blowout forums as well. And then he posted and said that he sold the card on eBay. So it sells back in 2019 for that. It just sold on Golden a few days ago for $96,400. Now, it did sell one time in between for $24,000. So presumably the guy who bought it for $300 flipped it for $24,000. I should say $24,000. So it went from $300 to $24,000, and then it went from $24,000 to $96,000. So even the person who bought it for $300 and sold it for $24,000 may be feeling the sting of it now selling for $96,611. It's a pretty epic flip. And what I want to know from you guys is, where does this rank in like flip stories you've heard? And also, I'm sure you probably haven't made a flip quite that extreme, but have there been flips that have worked out? Or worse yet, is there a story that comes to mind of a time when you have sold too early? Teapot, I'm going to start with you.
Let's start with Jalen Brunson, who is an anomaly. He's what we call an anomaly. Why is he an anomaly? Well, because he's small. What is he? I'm looking at, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Coming out of Villanova, nobody expected this guy to be maybe even in the league now. Second round draft pick. He started out in the league, 9 points a game?
Yeah.
8 points a game. His first two seasons, 9 and 8, up to 12, up to 16. Dallas, when he had that playoff run with them, everybody's like, oh, this guy can actually ball. And they let him walk, and the Knicks gave him a big contract. And people mocked the Knicks and said, what are you doing? There's so many guards in the NBA. What are you doing? This guy is not a top 5 or even a top 10 guard. There's no way. Now the Knicks are getting the last laugh, and now the person who bought this card is getting the last laugh. This is one of the few cards that we can honestly say went for more money today than it would have during the COVID hype.
Yeah,
because of how Brunson's career has evolved.
It's true.
I don't have a flip like this, Jeff. I did miss out on a flip like this. And you're going to remember this story. Sinatra's not the only one with regrets. I can relate to Big Seth in a big-time way here.
Okay.
Back in 2020, December of 2020, you had this great idea to do Advent charity box breaks.
I know where this is going, yeah.
Advent charity box breaks.
And
you came to myself and Hammer, and you said, I want you guys to buy boxes for every day. Surprise me. Here's your budget. You buy the boxes. We're going to charity auction the best card off. And I had been looking for months for a box of 2013 Fleer Retro Marvel to open for myself. I found one the same day you came and said, find these boxes. It was like $220. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably not getting my money out of this. And I don't know, whatever. So I decided this will be a fun twist. Jeff won't know what to do with this. It'll be fun to put it into the series. Who knows? Maybe we'll get something cool. You opened that box. You got a lot of good cards out of that box. You got multiple PMGs out of that box, including a Wolverine blue PMG number 250.
I remember it well.
Okay.
Nicely conditioned.
That card hit auction on eBay. I think it sold for $335, something along those lines. Person buys it. Person gets that card. They send that card to PSA. PSA closes their doors. That person gets the card back 14 months later, just in time for Culture Collision in 2022. The Spider-Man, it got a PSA 9. It was a Pop 1. The guy walked up to our booth at Culture Collision and said, hey, I bought this from you like over a year ago, and I don't even know is it good? And I looked at the card and my jaw dropped. I said, are you kidding me? I said, that's a $100,000 card. He's like, what? I was like, that's a $100,000 card. And we walked him over all the Marvel people. Marvel PMGs had gone nuclear. The Spider-Man BGS 9 in January of 2022 sold for $122,000. That Wolverine, I think he made a deal. I thought it was a public sale, and I can't find it anywhere, but I'm pretty sure he made a deal to sell that card for $100,000. And that card could have been mine, should have been mine, and it went to charity. But only $330.
That's a pretty big flip. I mean, that's as big of a flip as this.
It was horrible. I mean, it was great. It was horrible. It's terrible. So Big Seth, I'm with you. I'm with you.
The crazy thing though about the Marvel market, by the way, is that card is now closer to $300 than $100,000.
It's probably still It's
still a valuable. It's still worth a lot more than it was.
It might be like a $9,000 card or something now. But
the Marvel market's come down a lot. But yeah, that is quite the story.
So this Big Seth hit me. It hit me in the gut.
I know. It is hard to hear stories like this. Doug, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've never had a really great flip either. And it dawned on me that's because I don't hold cards long enough to get that kind of flip. I'm happy taking a much smaller amount of profit and moving on to the next thing, right? I'm good with making a few $100 or double my money on a card, and I keep moving. I would never hold, once that card hit 20,000, it's way gone from me. I would never have it long enough for it to hit 90. That's just how I would do that. But I have been on the wrong end of these before. Not to your extent. But I joined a break once. Maybe it was $100, $80. Yeah, it was Museum Club Soccer 2019 UEFA. I hit a Erling Haaland RPA to 25, and I sold it for $3,000. I thought I did great. That guy sold it for $25,000, pretty close to when I sold it to him. It wasn't even like a year later. It was months later. So that was a pretty bad one on my part. There was also a time, and this is actually closer to yours.
This is the one I think is it the Select?
No, not Select.
Okay,
I'm not even sure what the Select one is.
Okay,
we can talk about it later. I was going to open a personal box of Topps Finest Soccer, 2019 also, because I was a big Erling Haaland collector at the time. So I was going to open a personal box, and I put it in the Discord, our Discord, that I was going to open it. If anybody wanted to come hang out and watch me do that, that's fine. So I'm opening it. People are in the Discord. People are in the chat. And people started making offers to me on teams. So before I know it, this turned into a group break. Had no intention to, but I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that team. I don't care about that team. And I opened the box, and I pull a $7,000 card for someone else on a box I had entirely intended to open for myself, but it just randomly turned into a group break.
So at that point, I assume you immediately shut the stream,
refunded everybody's money,
changed your Instagram profile name, and now until now, they never knew what happened to their card, right?
Yeah. So I'm remembering one where you said you were 1 second too late getting the spot for a break in Select that hit the one-of-one Haaland.
They hit the one-of-one Haaland.
They hit the one-of-one Haaland.
You posted the screen. I saw it in our Discord.
Screenshot. So the
timestamp looked identical.
The way it worked in Discord, like they would post a team list.
Yeah.
And everybody would just furiously type in, I want this team.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that claimed it, and on my screen I was ahead.
Yeah.
But on the
moderators
on the moderator screen, I was below because of the lag or whatever.
When I went in, it looked like you were below. Yeah.
Yeah. So I missed it by milliseconds. One-of-one Haaland out of Select.
Yeah. And they hit the one-of-one. That was that man.
These are painful stories.
If you want to see that video too, the charity box break.
Yeah.
Look for Marvel from December of 2020.
It's still on this Sports Card Investor YouTube channel when we pull that Wolverine card. Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you a quick one, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic. I'll give you a quick one about both a great flip and a horrible outcome all at the same time for me. back in 2019, one of the players I was buying heavily was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, did really well with a lot of his cards. One in particular, I bought his National Treasures RPA out of 5, the Emerald. And I bought it for $3,000 in late 2019, and I sold it right before the start of the 2022 season. I sold it for $15,000.
Yeah.
Hey, 500% profit. Super happy with that outcome. Sold a bunch of his cards for 400, 500, 600% profit. The person who bought it for me for $15,000 less than a year later resold it for $75,000. That person also 5x their money. I 5x my money, and then they 5x their money, which means I could have gone nuclear with my gain on it. So you know what? You can't cry too much over making a 500% profit, but at the same time, I would have rather had 75,000 than 15,000. It happens. But I want to hear your stories out there. Tell me your missed opportunity stories. Has this type of thing ever happened to you? Let me know in the YouTube comments. I cannot wait to read. All right, one opportunity I want to make sure you don't miss is Arena Club. They have upped their offer 20% off just for our listeners, for first-time Arena Club customers with promo code SCI20 on these slab packs that they're doing another huge drop of tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Their new batch of slab packs come out, and they got some crazy big ones in their Ruby slab packs. Their Ruby basketball Grail card is a Steph Curry 2009 Topps Chrome Refractor, number to 500, BGS 9.5. Their Ruby football is a Justin Herbert 2020 National Treasures True RPA, number to 99, BGS 9 with a 10 auto. Their Ruby baseball is a Shohei Ohtani 2018 Topps Chrome Rookie Gold Refractor, number to 50, PSA 10. Combined, those three are worth $65,000. Get in there, take your chance, get one of these slab packs tomorrow. Download the Arena Club app and use promo code SCI20 for 20% off your first purchase at Arena Club. All right, guys, let's jump into the next topic today. Speaking of Ohtani, we got an interesting story here. I'm really curious to see what both of you think about this, right? There's a collector on Instagram. He goes by Simply High End Cards on Instagram, and he posted recently that he had a 2018 Bowman Chrome Ohtani auto card. That would be a big card, a huge card in and of itself.
It is.
With a standard auto. But he wiped the auto off. He cleared the auto off of the card. He took the card to Mr. Ohtani. I think he saw him at a game or something like that. And he asked Ohtani to sign it in kanji. So to sign the traditional script, which he did. And now he's got the card with the kanji signature instead of the regular signature that was originally on the card. He's very proud of this. He posted it. And I think it's just a PC card for him. But as we know, the Ohtani cards with the kanji signature are much more rare and typically sell for much more money in the sports card market. So, Doug, how does this sit with you? Is this fair or foul?
Well, you answered one of my questions immediately, if this was PC or not, right? I like the idea overall, because if this is a PC card, that's actually a really cool thing to own now. This is probably a one of one, or if not, it's very, very rare. And I don't care what you do to your own card. Have fun with it. And I actually like the kanji auto a lot more, so that's something I would find desirable. But I don't know if this should ever be something that's sold, right? And it's especially like, what are you going to do if you grade it? How does that grade? Should it come back altered authentic?
Altered.
It probably shouldn't even receive a number grade because he's obviously used some sort of, formula on it to clean the card, which is not supposed to be something you do anymore. So I don't think you could ever receive a card grade on it. Authentic altered is probably the best you can do. Maybe, I don't even know if you would grade the auto on it. So in that sense, I would not like to see this thing being sold, because it's a little weird. It's still a pack pulled auto, so there is some authenticity there. But this is something I really like for PC, but not beyond that, probably.
Yeah, you seem to be wincing there, Teapot. You have a different perspective on this?
I hate this more than I can express with words.
Okay.
I hate this so much. Imagine if there was like a new development neighborhood that went in Buckhead, okay? And there's a brand new house, a really nice, brand new $1 million house in this neighborhood. And then there's 3 vacant lots next to it. And some clown comes in and says, bulldoze that brand new house down because I've got to have the lot in the middle or something, and then I'm going to build the house that I want. It'd be stupid. There's a lot. If you want to get kanji auto, take a Bowman base card to him and get him to sign why do you erase?
It looks a lot better.
Why
It's got a space for an
It
auto.
does look terrible. Like, erase it off of there. This is ridiculous. Like, I just don't get it. It's a pack pulled autograph. Why would you erase a pack pulled autograph to try to get a different autograph? Go buy a kanji auto of a card if you want to do that. This would be like, oh, I've got this black 1/1 premier level select card of, Luka Doncic. I'm gonna cut it with a razor into the die cut version from the same checklist because that's amazing. Because now it's like a cooler card because I like die cuts for my PC. This is altering. If it goes to PSA, they better mark it as altered or just say, we're not grading such stupid things. I hate this. It's for his own PC. He can do whatever he wants, honestly. If you want to alter cards for your PC, you're free to do it. I don't have to think it's cool. I think it's ridiculous. And I love the kanji auto. It's way better than the normal English, characters. But this is the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time.
Autos on base cards look like crap.
I hate it so much.
This is giving me an idea. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my Desmond Ritter 1/1 Prism Black auto.
Because people like the base anyway.
I'm going to wipe the auto off. I'm going to find Desmond Ritter at a Raiders game. By the way, he's now the future of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm going to track him down at a Raiders game, and I'm going to ask him if he could sign his name in kanji on the 1/1.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Maybe it will become worth like $8 instead of $6.
Maybe he can say you should have learned with Will Greer on the card.
What if I were to
pretty good.
peel off a sticker auto and put it on a different
peel
card?
that. People do. Somebody did peel a sticker auto off of a card too that was notable. I forget what it was, but
all right, well, let's jump into our next topic, guys. I want to continue talking about Ohtani. We just had an all-time record sale for Ohtani, his 2018 Bowman Chrome Rookie Orange Auto Refractor. This is numbered to 25. It was a BGS 10 black label, and I think that's part of the reason why this card elevated as much as it did. It sold for $533,000. Over $500,000. That breaks the all-time Ohtani record for a card sale by almost $200,000. His previous high was set a few months ago with the sale of a 2018 Topps Chrome Sapphire Superfractor 1/1. But this out of 25 black label outsold it by $200,000. Teapot, does this sale make sense to you? And if you're chasing Ohtani, is now actually the time to buy?
It's a really good question. Ohtani, to me, is still looking like one of the best buys in the hobby right now. I was doing our Whatnot stream and, talking about somebody asked me, like, if I had $1,000 to put into a player right now, I said maybe Caitlin Clark, maybe Wemby, maybe Ohtani, and his prices are inflated. The thing is, I made a lot of money on Ohtani. It kind of ties into our first segment. I made a lot of money on Ohtani a year ago.
Yeah, you did.
I bought him from like January through March of 2023, and I sold right after the All-Star game before he got injured, and I did really well on Ohtani. And then he got injured, and then I just thought going into this season in the NL, the way the MVP picture was super competitive the year before, that with not pitching, he wasn't a lock by any stretch to win MVP. Now he's a lock. I mean, he had an incredible season, a record-breaking season. I think right now Ohtani is the guy across all sports from this generation who stands out the most to me of any athlete. More than Luka, more than Mahomes, who's been incredible. I love Mahomes. More than Wemby, more than Caitlin Clark, more than anybody. He's just done transcendent things, and he's done it for a long time now. He's fought through injuries. He's classy. He's got character.
Global appeal.
Global appeal. Like, there's a lot to like about him. So, I don't know. We talk about this all the time on our Spitball and Cards podcast, just debating, like, what do you make of Ohtani stuff right now? And it was a big debate amongst our group this year. Like, is he a buy? Is he not? I kept saying all year, like, just don't buy. If he comes down 10% or so in the offseason, which I don't really think is going to happen, honestly, I think he's a buy. So this sale does not surprise me. His stuff's way up right now.
What do you think, Doug, about this sale?
As far as does this sale make sense to me, I would say no, just because no six-figure sale makes sense to me. I deal in $100 cards, not thousands of dollars cards, and surely not $100,000 cards, right? So this is just out of my league entirely. I can't make sense of that. Is now the right time to buy Ohtani? I would probably say no, just for this specific point in time, because I do think there should be a dip coming. There should be some kind of off-season dip. Even if the floor for Ohtani is much higher now, there should be something that happens when interest dies down when we're moving on to different sports. You think that it may not even drop something like 10%, which is interesting because you know this market probably better than I do. Baseball, I'm clueless on, but I would expect there to be that 10% or more drop sometime during the lull of the offseason. That specific card, there is no right time to buy a card like that. It's out of 25. It's a black label, probably a pop one, I'm guessing. That's not going to come around very often. When it does come up, you've got to go for it. If that's the card you really need to have for your collection or whatever that case may be. So you can't really time something like that card. But if you're looking at an Ohtani refractor, I would assume that you can wait a little bit and find a slightly better deal. Even if it's not a great deal, I would assume sometime during the offseason lull, there is a new floor for Ohtani, but it's going to hit that at some point. I don't think we're looking at it right now.
For liquid cards, I think you'll be able to find deals on off-peak hours and things. But like for the high-end stuff, I don't know that there'll be any kind of a dip.
I don't like orange refractors.
No, I get that.
I don't either.
I don't like the orange refractor.
And it clashes with the red on the...
I wish Topps would, frankly, change. I'd rather have a blue refractor be out of 25. The orange could be out of like 150.
You're speaking blasphemy in the baseball world right now.
But the blues are much more beautiful and attractive.
I agree.
The reds are very attractive.
People don't like
they're
green
out of
either.
5.
Yeah, I don't love the greens either.
I don't love the greens either, but I really don't like the oranges. The oranges are probably my least favorite of the refractors. And so, to me, I would much rather have a red refractor out of 5 in a lower grade rather than a orange refractor out of 25 in a black label.
This is very strange coming from you.
No, I agree, though.
Because I love black labels.
Because you love Gators.
And
that's orange.
Yeah, but it's
phony.
It's beautiful. Paired
So he's
orange,
like ripping on orange
and blue
Ripping
are
on
beautiful
orange.
when paired together. Orange and red. Like this
It does.
Ohtani card.
That is one of the things about parallels and the standardization of things is you get these more rare cards, and when it literally clashes with the team color, it can look kind of off-putting. Yeah. I like the oranges for the purposes of Tigers cards, and it also looks nice with the Astros and the Orioles, and but I get it. I know what you're saying.
White and black never go out of style.
That's true.
I like white and black.
I do.
I like those.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yep. Change your shirt, will you?
I also, clearly I like those. I also like the fact that I am possibly even live by the time you're watching this, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night. I'm live on Whatnot selling LeBron James cards rapid fire for 4 hours. It is LeBron night, and we have a free blaster box for every first-time Whatnot buyer. I'm going to put the QR code on the screen again, put the link on the show notes below. It's Cards HQ shop on Whatnot. It is LeBron night. All auctions starting at just $1. Join me tonight and get a free blaster of Top Series 2 baseball for every first-time buyer. All right, final story today, guys. Just when we thought grading was cooling off. Didn't we do a story like
grading's dead
4 weeks ago about how grading was starting to cool down and the numbers were starting to come down? We kind of said, well, that's inevitable. Well, guess what? It surged back up
baby.
again.
We're
back. We got record numbers. In fact, the month of October was the busiest month of grading ever. PSA led with 1.45 million cards graded. That was 23% greater than September, and that set an all-time grading record. Now, we've talked about grading records before, so we're not going to get into that today. Here's what I do want to get into. I'm going to read you the list of the top 10 most graded players in the month of October. Actually, no, this is over the last week, I believe. The last week. And I want you to tell me which of these players surprises you and which of these players is the biggest mistake that people are grading right now. Okay, so here's the list from 1 to 10. Number 1, Victor Wembanyama, most graded. Number 2, Michael Jordan. 3, Shohei Ohtani. Probably no surprises really so far.
No.
4, CJ Stroud. 5, Ellie De La Cruz. 6, Caitlin Clark. 7, Paul Skeens. 8, Lamine Yamal. 9, Aaron Judge. 10, Anthony Richardson. Doug, I'm going to start with you.
The biggest surprise and the biggest mistake is the same player, and it's the most obvious one. It's Anthony Richardson. That's not good right now. That's probably the only way you could go wrong out of that entire list. If you remove that obvious choice, I don't know if there's not a mistake on that list, because every single one of those players is liquid, is valuable, and you can move them pretty quickly. If we're talking more of a long-term thing, then we can get into the conversation we had last week. We can talk about Ellie or Paul Skeens because of the things we talked about last week. Skeens, those types of pitchers are prone to injury. Ellie is a little bit inconsistent in some of the things he does, so on and so forth. So those would be my backup plans to Anthony Richardson. But we're in a day and age right now where if you grade a liquid player and you get a decent grade, you're going to get your money back or make money by selling to repackers. That's such a competitive environment right now, and it's such a lucrative environment right now that it's not very hard to make your money back or make a profit off just about any decent named athlete.
Yeah, fair points, fair points. What do you think? You agree with him on Richardson, or you got someone else?
2024, can we just get all of Jordan's cards graded already?
Yeah.
just be done grading them. Just get them all graded.
It is funny that Michael Jordan is the second guy on this list, and he hasn't had any new cards.
He doesn't even have like a ton of cards.
No.
Like perspective-wise, it's amazing. Like that there's just still this many Jordan cards being found to get graded. None of them surprised me at all. Richardson's the obvious one, and to me that's just like a testament to sort of what's been my soapbox over the last few years of caution and pump the brakes on hyping NFL quarterbacks when they're rookies and they get thrown into tough situations and they come out of the gate injured in their first year and then can't, complete a pass. So I'm not going to belabor the point on Richardson. You did fine work on that last week. Removing Jordan and Ohtani from the list, I would say, and maybe Wemby, but just take Jordan and Ohtani off that list. The one who I think might be the best bet long term is Lamine Yamal.
Okay.
I love it.
I think that kid is so special, unbelievably talented, young, and he's in such a good situation. He plays for Barcelona,
Which are getting a lot better.
They are incredibly deep and talented and winning right now. And then he plays for Spain, who won Euro Cup. They're going to be, if not the favorite, one of the favorites with like France and maybe England and maybe Brazil in the World Cup in 2026. I think they're going to win the 2026 World Cup. And he's just fantastic. He's unbelievably talented.
And by then he'll be like 19 at the World Cup.
Yes, he's 17 years old.
Yeah.
He just turned 17. So he's like scoring goals in Euro Cup, starting for Barcelona
16.
and the Spanish team at 16 years old with grown men who are insanely talented. And it's not like he plays for some obscure team in an obscure country.
Not at all.
He's not Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Interesting reference at the end.
Who's playing very well right now, by the way.
I agree with you guys on Richardson as the one on this list that you're kind of like, Lamine Yamal was actually the one that surprised me the most, not because of his talent and all the reasons why people should be excited. I was just excited. I was just surprised and excited, I should say, about a soccer card making its way on the list. The soccer card market had gotten really, really hot back in like 2021, 2022, and then it cooled considerably. And the number of people that you see set up at shows that are touting soccer cards and everything, I feel like has dropped quite a bit from where it was a couple of years ago when that market was kind of peaking as like the next hot part of the sports card market. Now it may very well come back with a World Cup coming here in the next couple of years. I hope it does. I think the soccer card market's really fun, but I was not expecting to see a soccer card of any player in the top 10. Obviously, if any player is going to make it, Lamine Yamal makes sense right now because he is the guy who, a lot of people think he's the next heir apparent. So great. I just didn't think there were enough of his cards out there and enough soccer collectors to really get him into the top 10. But there he sits. So pretty nice surprise, I think, for the soccer industry.
Yes.
All right, guys, this has been a fun show. I appreciate all you guys watching tonight. Don't forget about those Arena Club slab pack drops. Download the Arena Club app, promo code SCI20. And don't forget, I'm live on Whatnot. I'm heading over there right now. I'll see you on Cards HQ Shop on Whatnot tonight. See you then. Take care.